So start by introducing yourself and where you're from.
So my name is Tone, and I am a French player.
How long have you been playing Vitus?
Since 1996, right before the army.
Okay. And how did you come into the game?
I was looking for something different. Okay, I started my first trading card game was inspired by a role-playing game called In Nomine Satanis Magna Veritas. So it's about angels and demons, and it's a dual game. So we liked it. That's what got us and me and my friends into the trading card game issue. And so we went into a shop. I asked, okay, do you have something else? And he said, we were hesitating between Vitesse because of the World of Darkness RPG and something maybe like Spellfire or something. So the guy told us, just do Vitesse, it's the best in terms of game mechanics. So we tried to learn the rules. We asked stupid questions like Ascendance, do you gain one pool turn after turn, or what? The rules were not very clear. Then I discovered the internet, I discovered the mailing list, etc., etc. And
when did you start tournament playing?
I started judging this, I remember, probably in 1997, and playing for real 1989, I guess.
Yeah. 1989.
1989, I think, because we had a very big tournament in Paris. If we were like 85, it was enormous at the time, and it was also my first final. I was lent a Winnie computer hacking deck. And,
So your experience with the tournament scene, have you been to a lot of ECs?
I have been to, so obviously Budapest, last year in Warsaw, before that in Paris, before that in Palma, and in Prague, and in Gothenburg, and nothing before that because I was in Torpor 2005 to 2006. Ah yes, I went to Heidelberg, and I was judged in Paris in 2011 or something.
Okay, cool, super cool. So how are you finding this year's EC?
It's what we call in France a double Gaussian, in that there are very, very good players. You don't find so many middle level players, and you find many inexperienced players. So there's a kind of lottery, but it's part of the EC. I mean, it's okay. What is great is that you have to very quickly determine if this person, how is he going to react to what you do? Can you talk with him or can you not talk with him? You have to adapt very, very fast. So it's in that way it's interesting.
But it went well for you yesterday.
Yes, so I was playing AAA. My first round, I had Winipotence Strange with the Anarch module. So I stay cool with him, I back parity an imbued, and let him go forward, and then when myself I went forward, I discovered that he was playing Winipotence but long range, so it took him 3 actions to get down Rémiel Dupré. Then I think I made a deal at some point to kill the imbued, which died with an Ancient Influence. And after that it was pretty straightforward, if I recall correctly. Second round, I gave the game win to one of the very few girl players because I couldn't do anything else. She was too strong.
What do you mean by gave?
Were
you in a lost position and choose?
Yeah, I was in lost position, so I helped her get 2 VP.
Okay.
If she committed to withdraw, getting 2.5 VP, with myself in no other possible situation than to let her withdraw, because I deliberately before we were in a duel, 3 players. Okay, so that's me, that's her, that's the last player. I send my vampires knowing that she will block and torporize me. I mean, I villain Alexandra to down to 1 blood. I pay for some stupid card, so Alexandra goes to torpor. Everyone is in torpor, so she kills her prey. She has 2 VP. Okay, I have to kill him. I have no vampires, so if she honors her deal, she withdraws. I have no other choice than to let her withdraw because I have no vampires. So I am last man standing and I get a VP. And it's true that usually in EC it takes a lot of talk to get people to first understand that it's legal. It can be legal if it's done properly.
Yeah.
When I have everyone in torpor,
then it's impossible to do something else.
It's impossible to do something else. And it's important to know that I have everyone in torpor back when we are 3 players. So the deal is valid.
Yes. Yeah.
And she understood and she honored her deal, so I have 1 VP. And the last round was a bit complicated. Basically, I was praying on Gangrel Dominate, praying on...
like Stanislava?
Stanislava, yeah. Praying on... I don't remember because I'm very tired. But what I do remember is that his hand is shaky, there's not much time. So last action, he bleeds. His prey is at 1 pool. He bleeds with Ingrid, who has 1 blood. So Ingrid pays for stealth. I have Anneke, I block, I generate intercept, and he says, okay, I'm blocked. So okay, combat. And then he realized, oh no, wait, I have a Daring the Dawn. I know I can get a second game win, I know I can be very anal in terms of rules or lawyering, and incidentally, the head judge is 1 meter away. So I say, judge? And the judge says, yeah, he's blocked, and he can play the Daring the Dawn. So I go, ape shit, what? He can play the Daring the Dawn? Yes, but he's still blocked. Okay, he's blocked, he can play the Daring the Dawn. We still have a disagreement with the floppy on that. But anyway, that's how it was rolled. So he plays the Daring the Dawn, we got into combat, I play Majesty, he plays Earthmail, but still there is a pending damage of Daring, so he goes to torpor, he dies. After that I have a vote lock, everything, so I get my second game win.
Now, question: you play a AAA. Is it AAA with the new style with Asher Tablets Liquidation, or is it more old style?
Asher is boring for me. I mean, it makes for time limits.
Okay. So it's an old style?
Yeah.
Or older, newer, maybe?
The real reason is that now I have 2 jobs, and my second boss never lets me do anything, except hold him in his arm. So basically my decks are very, very, very old.
Okay. So it works. What apparently they still work very well. What was your thoughts when you went into the last chance? Was your thought, I'm going to need to qualify, or was your thought, I'm going to win this? What was your goal?
First I was already qualified. Second for the Nations Cup, since I don't watch the forum because of my new job. 3 other French players said, yes, I want to do the Nation Cup. So I said, okay, you do it. I do the last chance. And to me, the objective was to play as best as I could, because last year I couldn't make it to day 2. So it was like, immerse in the EC environment, try to get to know the people, play my deck as best as I could. And also for me, one additional goal was that AAA, I won before, but it was back when you could change seats, back when you had the first and second and third in final and so on.
Yeah. So you had the dealing aspect back then, but now it's just your deck and nothing else. So when you went into finals, did you know what the other 4 players played? No idea.
How did you choose?
Seating them. Did you just look them in the eye?
I was 5th.
Okay, no choosing.
So I didn't care.
Okay. Did you have a plan when you started to see the other players' decks? Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for 2 VPs or any such strategy.
Actually, I was not too happy when I went to the table, because I saw that my deck box was standing with a Dalila Easton that was very visible, and it was before the sitting of the players. So, okay. So to answer your question, so I was praying on. I'm sorry, I don't remember the names. His nickname is Flak. Nana Buroku, Animalism Combat, praying on Nefandus, praying on Ahriman, the beach, Muricia, praying on some sort of obfuscate vote with Paschek and Mukhtar Bey. So my plan, since I didn't have vote lock because of what was happening on my right and because of Nana Buroku who could temporize me, was to lay low. But actually, I didn't even have the time to lay low because I was tired, so I just influence. I don't have Hanson, I play more than 30, maybe 34 master in the deck, so it's not the best start. I get Anneke out, I don't say anything, I get a rush, first rush, second rush, 1 blood on Anneke. Okay, I have John's blood, but still. I wasn't planning on doing anything, and he starts pissing me off a bit, so Okay, my plan was not to say anything, but usually it fails within 5 minutes.
Are you a talkative person when it comes to Vitus?
Yeah.
Talking like ordinary talking, or talking about deals and games, and you should do that, and I should do this, and we should do this? Which kind of talking?
It depends on the mood, really. At the start, it was talking with whoever could help me, because I had my Delilah in torpor. I needed her for Grand Ball. So I asked the Nef, hey, you rescue me, I take a party shift here, I give you pull to you, to him, not to me. He says no. Okay, Ahriman says no. Okay, so I deal with my Predator. Okay. One rescue for Delilah, 2 blood, 1 action, and I give him 5 pull on the party shift. It's not a big deal. And he does it. So I did the shift, etc., etc. I wasn't thinking much about the audience because I didn't really have a plan. I mean, Nana, I know the table has to, explode at some point, but it's too early, so I just have to lay low.
So basically you had like a lay low strategy and hoped that at one point you could just wreak havoc amongst all of them, or
I wasn't
just more of a 1 VP at a time?
I wasn't planning on havoc at the time. The only thing that was important is that if the Ahriman killed his Predator, it would be very, very difficult for me because he was first seed.
The Ahriman was first seed, okay.
Yeah, the Ahriman was first seed.
What was the problem with ousting your prey fast?
Because I didn't have, I think I didn't have enough majesties. He had too much combat. So if he wants, I mean, when you see someone who doesn't say a word to you, who back rush you turn 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, you think, okay, if he does it without talking, maybe if he gets angry, he can full back rush, destroy me. I don't know. I'm not willing to take the chance. So. And besides, I know Nefandus, it's very resilient, it takes forever, it makes time limits. And in Paris, we have a guy who plays Nefandus all the time, and we call him the waste bin, because each time there's something dirty to do cross table, it's for him. Parity shift is for him. Entrancement cross table is for him, all the time. So I said to my pro, okay, if you leave me alone, I will help you keep your prey. He has 1 VP, it's okay. If I kill him, it's the same. And at some point, okay, the Ahriman realizes, because Nefandus begins to die, the Ahriman realizes he's no longer first, so he has to move. He temporizes people on his left. Therefore, I get back to the outlook, do some damage. And yes, at this time I was thinking about the audience, I guess.
At this particular moment of time, is anyone ousted? Only Nefandus?
Nefandus, Nefandus, I think he died maybe between 30 and 20 minutes before the end.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
You were thinking about the audience?
Yeah, because, I mean, well, first I was thinking about the audience, and second I was very tired in the end. I mean, in the end I played like shit. Like, I have a sudden reversal, Venture headquarters hits the table, I'm not thinking... I have a vote, I have a charming lobby, I don't play the charming lobby, so anyway, I was tired. But I have 2 ancillary empowerments, and it's the only way I can kill my prey. So I just liberally play it. The Ahriman, I did not look at his face, but French players told me he was like white, because he lost, 8 or 10 pull on 2 ancillars. He said, you kill me! Oh, really? I kill you, sorry. Oh no, you're down to 2 pull, you're not dead.
You played both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
I think. I think I played both of them. Yeah. Or maybe one was delayed. I don't remember. And then maybe less than 10 minutes before the time limits, you know that in finals it's so slow. So 10 minutes, you have to go, try whatever you can. So I tried. The Ahriman gave intercept with his location. I thought I failed, but top decks the last kind, and that's it.
So you managed to get 1 VP just before the end?
Yes, well, I did not specifically plan on having 1 VP just before the end, but I mean...
That was happened.
It happened, because I knew there was not going to be another turn for me, so I had to try to go for it, and it's simple.
And make it work.
How many vampires did you have in play at that time? How rush were you?
I had Alexandra and Anneke, I think, and Ramiel, Dupré, and Delilah. Yes, I had 4. And on the killing turn, I had like 2 pull, I think.
So it was really close.
No, I had 5 pool, but I paid 3 on the Temptation of Greater Power on the only untapped Nanaboroku of my prey, so that he had to spend 1 pool, and it was the missing pool that killed him, actually.
Oh, that's actually
Really clever use of that card.
TOGP.
In hindsight, do you think that's anything that needs to be changed with the deck?
I spent maybe 2 hours total yesterday trying to modify the deck because I know many things were wrong. If I had to change something, it would be try to put more reaction, but I don't know what to remove. So
how many cards is it? 90 card deck? 80 card?
Yeah, it's 90 cards, so maybe 34 masters, 18 political actions, 18.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. 7 reactions, 2 equipments, Sargon Fragment and Flaming Candle. Many people use it, but it was my idea at the time. I didn't look on the internet, so I'm a bit proud. I'm happy about it.
It's fine to be proud.
Well, Flaming Candle is very good in that kind of deck, and Sargon, when you have a recursive banishment or some stuff like that, it's horrible.
With Alexandra's special, it's very strong, to put it mildly.
And the rest, maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 modifiers, and the rest, yeah, something like that.
You've been tournament playing with this deck the last 10 years or so? Or how long have you had an experience with AAA?
Yeah, I played a lot in 2002, 2003, a bit, maybe 2 or 3 times or something like that. But it's the first time I make the final. I don't remember. Well, first time I win with it. That's for sure.
Okay.
Well, congratulations on your victory.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this for us. Awesome.
Thank you for making it.
This was yesterday's